Hello and welcome to Thynology. My name is John Bowling. I'm the president. Today we're going to be talking about our virtual desktop infrastructure, known to some as the cloud. However, I have to warn you that the cloud means many different things to many different people. It can be an empty box, just a server, and you've got to put the operating system and everything else on it. It could be a box for storing data. It could be just data storage. It could be software as a service. To us, what the cloud means is that we take your entire office infrastructure as you know it, everything, all of your applications, all of the data that's stored on your servers and your machines, and your email systems, and everything that you do on a working day. We take that and set it all up on our servers here at our data center in Austin, Texas, and then present it to you utilizing Microsoft's remote desktop technology in much the same way that you would work with your desktop. Then you now work with your virtual desktop infrastructure on our servers. So we've been doing this a long time. We were formed in 2004, and we started providing cloud or our virtual desktop service later that same year. We were one of the first providers of the cloud in the nation. Back in those days, literally, we had to install the operating system on a server a couple of times, and that's what was presented as a terminal services session for the users to use. So it was very hardware intensive. Today, the hardware that we buy is much bigger and much more powerful, and we're able to run 20, 30, 50 different servers inside a single host machine, and this is thanks to Microsoft's Hyper-V technologies. One of the things that we do when deploying all of our virtual desktop infrastructure and supporting all of our customers is we use engineers, everything from PhDs down. That ensures that we are doing the best job possible of making sure that our systems are up 24/7, 365. We have our own server farm. We don't rent servers from Azure or AWS or Google or anything like that. We built our own data center in 2014. We have our own server farm, like I said, over 200 servers. These are a combination. Obviously, there's large hardware, physical servers to house the many virtual servers in. And there's many virtual servers, and there's different operating systems. Some of them are Microsoft, some of them are Linux, some of them are Unix. It just depends on what the customer's requirements are for running their applications as to what the operating system is that we deploy. And we have automated tools that we manage the systems with and provide us with alerts in the event that something's going wrong. As I said, we operate 24/7, 365. And the other thing we do, just as you have your applications running on your servers or your desktops now, we run those on our servers and present them to you on your virtual desktop. We've got over 100 of these. So we have a lot of experience in managing and running, updating, fixing errors, and all of the day-to-day things that go into making sure that you're up for a maximum amount of time during the day so that you can increase your productivity and increase profits and things. So one of the things that we do is we deploy what's called a high availability infrastructure. And essentially what's going on here, when you're logged into a machine, there are replications of that machine running at the same time and managed by a set of SQL servers. And this goes for the machines that you're actually working on, but also where your data is saved. So what this does for us is if the machine you're working on has a sudden issue and it crashes, then you can immediately log back on because another server that is identical to it, which has been synchronizing with the one that you're working on, is what you log into next. So you don't even realize that another machine has been running there. You think when you log back in, you're logging into exactly the same machine. And in many respects, you are. It is an exact image of the machine that just crashed or went down. So one of the things that this does for us and for you is to maximize the uptime that you're able to work during the day. And one of the things we're able to do in this environment is we're able to run those important updates, not only on the operating systems, but also your application updates or fixes to your applications while you're working away on your live systems. So as we make these updates to the replicated system in the background, over time, those are synchronized. And so the one you're working on is then synchronized with the one that's being updated, and so those updates are synchronized across. And this whole time you've been able to carry on working. So a great benefit and an enhancement to providing the increased uptime by not having to have you log out, shut down, and wait for the updates to be run. Then we can do all of those critical and important updates while you're working, knowing that they'll be synchronized over the next 5 to 10 minutes, and all will be well. If something should happen to either the machine we've just updated or the machine you've been working on, they're one of the same. So then you're not going to lose any work, and you're not going to lose any productivity time. We do the same thing with the file servers. The file servers are continuously synchronized with one another. So when you save your data, it's being saved to one server. It's actually synchronizing to another server. So if something should happen to that one, then you're automatically switched to the other one. You don't even know it's happened. It's all transparent to you. One server can go down and you're using another one. We bring the other server back up. It starts synchronizing with that again, and it's completely transparent to you. You don't even know it's happened. Now, the other thing that we do, of course, is yes, it's great to have these servers up all the time. What about accessing them? Well, we have a high availability network infrastructure as well. So this diagram points out two ISP connections. That's two physical internet connections to the outside world, and duplicate devices in place to make sure that if one device fails or one internet provider goes down, then the other one automatically picks up. This is a very high level drawing diagram. In actual fact, there's probably 30 to 40 different devices sitting back in a rack here in our data center that is managing and maintaining all of this infrastructure uptime to make sure that no matter what the time of day, whatever the day of the week it is, wherever you are working from, then you always have access to your cloud version, your cloud infrastructure to work and be productive. Now, the other thing that we're doing is making sure that all of this data that you're generating is backed up. So every night, your systems are backed up, and this includes the actual servers that you're working on. We do what's called snapshots and exports of those machines, so that in the event that two of them get corrupted, we can quickly go to the backup systems and pull one of them back and set it back up and running again. But so the way the backup systems work is we back up to our offsite backup server. That backup server then backs up to another offsite backup server. So we have redundancy in backup servers that are completely separate from the network infrastructure that you're working on. So literally they're being backed up across the internet to backup servers within the systems. So the other thing that happens is after 30 days, then we take those backup servers and we back them up again to hard drives. And we send those hard drives off to a company called SafeSite here in Austin, Texas, where they're put into long-term storage. SafeSite is a secure storage facility, very similar to Iron Mountain. Most people have heard of Iron Mountain. They advertise on TV all the time, but a very similar system, just much smaller. So anyway, the backup allows us to be able to get individual files. So it's incremental. So we can get individual files, or we can get complete servers. Whatever the event that's presented to us, we can go to the different systems and quickly make sure that you're not going to be impacted in any way, that you're going to lose productivity time. Because in a nutshell, that's what we're really selling here. We're selling the maximum uptime possible, so that you work 8 hours, but you're able to actually have production for 8 hours. You're not going to be down waiting for updates, or waiting for an IT guy to get there, or waiting for other vendors to call in, or whatever the scenario may be. It's never going to happen to you. Something does go wrong, and things will go wrong when you're working inside an application. We can quickly exit you out of that server, go to the next one, and we can also work and repair that server while you're working, repair that application while you're working, and make sure that you're being productive, generating revenue the whole time. Now, the other reason that we do this is there's significant cost savings to be realized over traditional in-house savings. Typically, depending on the size of your organization, smaller organizations, you're looking at about 20% cost savings. But larger organizations, if you're a 50, 100, 200-man organization, you're going to be realizing savings in the 40% mark. Okay. The other thing that we do is we provide a lot of security. As you saw in the network diagram, we provide a lot of security to ensure that all of your data is secure on our systems and can't be hacked on our systems. But also just logging in, we provide what we call two-factor authentication. In fact, we mandate that it gets used to make sure that nobody can steal that your username and password and get to log into your system. They would have to be able to have access to your cell phone to answer either the request for approve, or the request to put in a text number. As I mentioned, high availability online backup servers for the protection of that data. And the other thing we provide is encrypted storage. So while you're working on the systems, working across the internet, all of your keystrokes and the messaging coming back to you is encrypted. But we can also encrypt what we call your at-rest data. So while you're not logged into the system, and you're not logged into, say, a QuickBooks database or some other form of database that you're using, we actually encrypt that database for you if you would like us to do that, so that if in the event that all of our security systems are penetrated, then we can ensure that nobody's going to be able to get to that data, because it's going to be encrypted. And of course, we provide protection of your systems through Symantec, and no one antivirus program can get all of the malware off. So very often you'll see us when we're fighting a particularly bad infection, you'll see us using Malwarebytes or something like that. If it's a really severe infection that's happened over the last day, then of course the quickest thing for us to do is just delete that machine and bring back another one from the backup. Depending on how big that machine is, smaller machines 5 to 10 minutes, larger machines 20 to 30 minutes. Again, though, it can be a lot better and a lot faster than trying to rectify a really bad virus infection. So one of the tools that we use to manage these systems is from a company called Datto. And this Datto tool set allows us to manage and maintain all of our machines, and it provides us an insight into what is happening from an operating system perspective, from logs that are being generated. The servers are famous for generating, gigabits of logs, and which they do. And so those logs in turn generate all kinds of information for us. As you can see on the left-hand side of this screen, a list of the things that are provided. But the simple things are, we want to make sure that your hard drives are not filling up both in the file servers that you're using, but also on the operating system drives. All of the machines that we're using are not your typical drive sizes. It's very common for us to have 30, 50, 100 terabyte drives that are broken up into partitions. And so you're using a partition on a 30 or a 50 terabyte drive. But even for all of that, we want to make sure that the operating system drive is not filling up. We want to make sure that all of the drives that are associated with your systems are not filling up, and that you have plenty of memory and stuff like that. Now, we also have a ticketing system that is tied into Datto. It's a ticketing system that when you have an issue, you want us to solve a problem that's happening. Could be that there's an error coming up on one of your applications. You submit a ticket, and we have a tiering system for the ticket. And the tier is, normal, high, and critical. Critical tickets, we drop everything we're doing, and we set to work on it. Our engineers use this ticketing system as kind of a workflow tool. So they're taking the ticket that came in first, and they're addressing that ticket. So it's a first come, first served basis until it's critical. And then at critical, then we stop all of the normal activity and resolve the critical issues. Datto, when it has a critical alert, submits a critical ticket. So it sends a message out to the ticketing system, and the guys working in the NOC, Network Operations Center, see that coming across, and they immediately jump to whatever that critical ticket happens to be. So the other thing that we've done over the years is we've created a huge knowledge base. As an example, we have not called QuickBooks in 10 to 12 years, because over the years we've developed such a large knowledge center of our own that we can pretty much fix any QuickBooks issue there may be. We haven't called QuickBooks in a long time. But so from this, when you call in or you send in a ticket, first thing we're going to do is go look at the knowledge base and see if we've addressed it before. We haven't stored everything in this knowledge base, more the critical things that we know that don't happen that often. And the help desk folks are going to need answers quick, so they can refer to this knowledge center, find out what the issue is, and resolve it from there. If after the experience doesn't help them figure out what it is, they don't have an answer here in the knowledge base, then they're going to move to calling the vendor, and we do that for you. You call us. You don't punch 1, you don't punch 5, 9, all those different numbers. When you call us, you're going to get a recording advising that the call is being recorded, but then a live voice is going to pick up, and you're going to be helped straight away. So lots of nice things to make sure that you stay up and active, generating revenue, maximizing that uptime to make sure that you can work as few hours as possible and generate the most revenue as possible. One of the things that we offer here, in addition to just providing the virtual world, the cloud system to you, is we subscribe to dark web monitoring for you. So we take your email address, your domain, and we put it into a system, and it's monitored for dark web activity. As an example, a couple of years ago, Home Depot database was stolen. It was put out onto the dark web, and a few weeks later, someone bought my login information to my Home Depot account. I was alerted to that, so I could quickly go in and change my username and passwords before any damage could get done. So this is not ID theft protection. It's more like a precursor, like a proactive warning system that, hey, there's a possibility now that someone can steal your ID because they've got a username and password that has been used. It could have been used, for many of the large retailers now, many of the large entities are having their databases stolen all of the time. And you've heard about 3 billion email addresses and account information being stolen from XYZ company. So this is going on, and so when your name is out there, we can quickly alert you, and you can change those username and passwords on bank accounts, financial information, and stuff like that. So you can nip getting ID theft, being a victim of ID theft, nip it in the bud quickly, so that doesn't happen to you. This system also provides us the two-factor authentication that I was speaking of earlier, so that we've got to have two-factor authentication enabled to make sure that no one other than you can log into your virtual desktop. So anyway, that's our virtual desktop infrastructure. I hope you've enjoyed learning a little more about it. We look forward to hearing from you. 512-670-3930, or an email at sales@thin-nology.com. Every time we give a demo on this system, everybody's really amazed about how quick it is, how smooth it is, how easy it is to access, and all those wonderful other things about it. And certainly, as we found out with COVID-19, all of our virtual desktop infrastructure clients, didn't bother them that they had to work from home. They had all been doing it anyway. So all the difference was now that they didn't get up and go to the office in the morning. They just kept working from home. It's a great tool. It's a great addition to technology to allow you to work from anywhere on any device. Whether it be an Apple device or a Microsoft device, Droid devices. The only device that we really don't support is the Google Chromebook. But other than that, most devices can be readily deployed and available to allow you to access your virtual desktop infrastructure. Anyway, thanks for joining us, and have a great day, and have a great rest of your week. Thank you, and goodbye.